Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm working back on my car. I had to fix the underbody. When I ran the wire, it just rested just enough, like on the curve. I couldn't pull it up any harder. And just the little plastic screw up pieces to hold the underbody on, they didn't hold and they were just falling, so the underbody was kind of hanging down. So drilled them out, threw a little bolt on there, screwed it back up. Now it's perfectly fine. But main point, I want to start working on most of my main wiring in for the box. I still got to do some fiberglassing and some kind of finish work on the box, but I want to start getting ready for everything else to go in around it, like the battery trays, the wire run to the kind of to and from where they have to go. I am going to make that board back there to kind of go in that spot for my converter and my crossovers, so that'll be able to see from the other side, but it'll have my wire management and fusing and stuff there as well. So time to start working on everything kind of around this guy, and then get to finishing this up. Alright, so I'm in the back seat of the car. I have this one line already trimmed. What I have to do is I have to run it from where it comes down up there to come out pretty much over in this corner. So just dropping it down. Same for this side, and then I have to trim it as well. That's that, so I'm going to run that the same way down here, so that it pops out right over here, runs up this way, distribution will be about here, then converter and the two crossovers on either side. So that should be really cool. So I'm going to get to trimming these wires and get them run the right way, and we'll see how that goes. Okay. Alright, so as y'all can see, I got one run going right from there, up over, down behind everything, pops up right there. Same thing on this side. I gotta tuck that still behind the rest of the trim panel. But same thing here, pops out over here for that capacitor. And that's all set up for the board now. Alright, so this is the piece of board I'm going to use for the piece in the back of the car there. This is all the stuff I have that needs to go on this board when I'm done. So along with making it all fit, I want to make sure that I leave enough room for my wire management. I know these 2 blocks are overkill. They're just what I had from the Colorado build. So given that probably about half of these will be empty, I might order a 4 gang plate from him. I just don't know. This is just what I had from what I did before. But I have to have the processor on there and then the 2 crossovers, whether they go on the sides, processor like that. It's kind of the idea that I was thinking something along the lines of kind of like this, and having everything kind of just in that area. But I got to get this board cut and shaped down to the size in the back of the car here roughly, just so I can start placing that stuff for sure and find out exactly where I'm running those wires to. Alright, so on this board I got it marked with green. I don't know how well you can see it from here, but green at 17 for the height and 37 for the main width. That's pretty much going to be the widest point up there where I want the plate from side to side, and it narrows down near the top. So I'm just going to cut the main square and then start to fit it as it kind of goes in and get it to fall into place. Alright, so I just cut that panel down to size. So I got the widest width at the bottom. Yes, it's on the other side of the panel right now. But I got it cut down to the height and cut down to the main width at the bottom. Reason I did that is you can see in the green, I traced just about where this pocket sits. So now I can take this board out, do like 80% of the trimming, and then go to make it for a final fit. So it just makes it a lot easier to trim, that's all. Alright, just jigsawed the corners off, kind of following the green line on the other side. It's just about in place. I got about maybe like 2 inches or so to go, maybe an inch and a half or so on both sides. So I just got to keep trimming a little bit, and that should fit up there no problem. Alright, that panel is all cut and pretty much fit into place. It hangs a little bit without just any pressure. When I go to mount it, I'll have to build something probably off the box when it slides in, just to put a little bit of pressure, just like right in the middle here, just to hold it kind of in place. But other than that, it's all cut to size and good to go. Now I just got to get pretty much on the other side, which I have the outline of the other side right where this is laying, outlined in the black. So now I can go through and lay everything out that's going to have to be on this board and find out my spacing. And now I can play with where I can run those guys at too. So let me see what I come up with. Alright, so first things first, whenever you're making a panel like this, you always want to find your middle. This one, I had this board cut at 37. So I did 37. Divide by 2, that gives you 18.5. So what I did just to triple check myself is I measured to the middle, marked it, then measured 18.5 from each side, and just marked the middle as well. So I have the middle of the average from each side, so that should be the dead middle of the board. The reason you want to do that is that just gives you a mark and kind of like a metric to line these guys all up to keep everything centered as you go up. You don't want to have something kind of as you go along and end up being a little off, like something like that, and not notice it, because once you install it, you'll definitely see that. So let me do some marking, let me do some kind of outlining, and I'll get back with you guys when I have more of a plan. Alright, so here's the idea I think I'm going to roll with. I got the distribution block on the bottom, so I can have those wires jump right up, and probably into like 1 and 6. My ground's on top, so I can run them all in from the top up there and just kind of jump them down. Processor there, and then the 2 crossovers are evenly spaced out and measured up. Everything is straight, everything should be ready to go, but I think that's the layout I'm going to go with. I like it. I got everything marked out kind of for cutting the holes and popping holes where everything needs to run eventually. I'm going to start with these 2 down here just to get the power wire. Those 2 runs right there, those guys, to get those guys to jump up into the right place. Because once I get those, I can pretty much put the board almost in and kind of position everything else, make sure everything else is going to work. Alright, so I got the panel in the car. It's starting to come together. Wires are about where they need to be. I still need to trim that some. Kind of probably about where I marked it. But other than that, then I can start getting pretty much everything put in, and I can start actually pre-wiring some of this stuff and get ready for it to be installed. Alright, I got those fitting a little better. So you can see up there pretty much what I did. It's kind of popped up through the carpet behind where the box is going to be. Just runs out to the panel. One side is from this guy here. The other side is this guy here. So now I just got to terminate them on the other ends. I could throw the distribution block probably on and actually get these wires hooked up, and I can just leave the block kind of screwed off of the board, or maybe I could start mounting stuff and kind of get stuff ready to go. I know that board's gonna have to come out again, so I don't want to make it too permanent. But I do need to start mocking some stuff up so I know where I'm at. I got the distribution block mounted up. Both wires run. I'm gonna have one go to 6 and one go to 1. I had to actually back it up a touch. The studs here, I didn't think about that. They come out a little bit, so the seat ended up touching against it when you put the seat up. So I slid it back like 1.5 to 2 inches on both sides. It looks really good. It's still gonna be very flush against the edges. You'll never see it. That, and it puts everything right there. Converter, ground block, and then the wires will jump out right there. Which truly, I could probably just notch out a big hole up there and just have them drop down from up above the trim panel, and you won't even see it. They'll just drop down from the top and come right to the block. That might be what I do here. So then I have these guys go up in. I'll have a 0 gauge from this guy and a 0 gauge from this guy run out this way, dive back into the board. This is the LC2I, so these will be the RCAs, so they'll dive into the board here and just pop up and go in. Same thing with the speaker inputs and stuff like that over here. And then, like I just said about the ground block, those should probably just drop down from the top. Crossovers on the side, same thing. That's what those circles are there. That's gonna be the cutout for the speaker wires. Okay, so now I got the board in the car. I got the ground. I'm just gonna look at it, make sure it all looks even and straight from here. It does. Okay, cool. So that's the ground on top, LC2I, and then my fusing down below. That's pretty much how it's gonna look. Like I said, I'll probably just have the wires run down from the top rather than cut out holes like that. I think it'd be cleaner. That, and I have these two trimmed back almost to the right length. I gotta cut them and terminate them so they can go on there. Then just last thing is going to be, well, I'm going to locate all the holes for these guys, and then I'm going to move on to the crossovers, get them located and cut in, and hopefully throw some carpet on it. We should be done with this panel. Alright, so I got the wires terminated there. I got the board in, so this is what we're looking at now. So you can see how I ran the 2 runs that are going to go to my 2 amplifiers. I'm going to do the JP 8, like I showed you guys earlier, but I'm also going to do the 84. And I'm just doing the front doors on in this car. Mind my mess. I know I haven't cleaned my car in a while. But that's what I got with the processor, crossovers, and the distribution. So it all fits behind the seat. Let me see. The seat folds up. Goes all right behind. Everything clears there. I know the camera probably just went sideways, but everything clears. We're all good, and I'm gonna start pre-wiring all this and get some carpet on it. So I got this piece carpeted. I have a pretty much like a you can call it like a cape, I guess, going down the back of it, just to hide all the wire management. I mean, you're not going to see below this point in here anyways, you know, because that's where the box is going to be sitting. But if you come around, you can see in here that this is what we got. So comes right up to the edge, butts up to everything. Perfect fit. So I'll have to finish wiring this in. I have to get longer screws to mount the crossovers. They just have, here I can show you, they have these skinny holes, and these longer screws that I have, the screws I've been using for everything else, they won't sit down in that spot there, so it only goes through the piece like that much. So I need more than that to mount them to the board. But other than that, that's set to go. I have to clean it off some real quick. I just threw the box back in, so when you look up in there, I can actually take care of those. I'll hammer those in or something, the staples up there. But from back here, you're looking in, you can't see anything through. All the stuff's mounted on the other side, and box fits right where it's supposed to. So super happy with this. Again, if you guys like this kind of stuff, watching me build my stuff, and let me know. I can do more videos of that. But if y'all enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.